This is how I mapped out one of my students' 2-year plan to help her pay for her master's degree while building out her 100K investment portfolio. Okay, this is the same plan that helped me pay off $20,000 of credit card debt while saving $5,000 for my emergency fund, and then ultimately building my 100K investment portfolio. If you want to create a plan for your money that will help you stay organized, guarantee your savings, your debt repayment, or any other financial goals that you may have, then keep watching this video. In fact, if you're looking for a tracker like this one that I'm about to show you, comment below tracker and I'll hook you up with this one for absolutely free. No email or opt-in required. My gift to you for watching this video. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Michelle Hung. I'm the author of Investing for Teens, How to Save, Invest, and Grow Money, and I am a fee-only financial planner. I've taught thousands of people how to plan for their financial future and invest in the stock markets to build a lifetime of wealth. In this video, I'm going to show you how to allocate money for your goals, how to stay motivated, even if you do veer off track with some sort of emergency. This is all about keeping an eye on the prize and prioritizing your savings goals or debt repayment goals, any financial goals that you desire. So in this tracker, we start off by entering in how much money you've decided to allocate towards your savings and your investments. Now, how do we get to this point? You would have had to organize, created your budget, your cash flow plan for your fixed expenses, and then toggling between your day-to-day variable expenses like food, going out, entertainment, all that stuff, and money for goals. Okay, so this is all about right here, striking a balance between your day-to-day spending, making sure you don't resent your life, and making sure you're prioritizing your savings and your investment goals. Because once you've decided how much you want to be allocating towards your goals and your savings, you're going to be automating that process. Okay, so basically, if you get paid on the 1st of every month, on the 2nd, money is automatically being funneled to your savings or your investment accounts. Okay, the same way that rent is automatically taken out the 1st of every month, or your mortgage, or your phone bills, whatever. Okay, automating that, fixing that is basically guaranteeing that your goals will happen. Okay, so we're assuming this has been done. If you need help on that, comment cash flow below and I will hook you up with a different sheet that will help you organize your fixed expenses and basically how to create a cash flow spending plan that will help you strike a balance between your current lifestyle and your savings and investment goals. So going back to this sheet right now, in this first section, once you've determined how much you want to be allocating towards your savings and investments, you're going to be putting that amount right here. And this works for debt repayment as well, but I have a different sheet for that. In this case, this is for savings and investment goals. I'm going to put that in here. We're going to leave this right here, assumed annual investment return. The long-term return averages around 7 to 10%. I'm going to leave it at 7%. And then the annual savings return. So if you have a high interest savings account, in fact, everyone should have that because that's where your emergency fund should be sitting in. You're going to put the return in there. So for EQ Bank, it's roughly around 1.25%. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to list out. Okay, so this is divided between your RSPs, TFSAs, and high interest savings. So this is what my student has. And so this is how I set it up for her. And what I did was I had her put in the beginning balance for each of the accounts. And then each of the sections of these accounts is the additional investments, how much money is being allocated to this account, and the withdrawals. So for her master's degree, she has a payment schedule. Now this will work for, if you bought a new house or a new condo and there are installments to be made over maybe like a year or 3 year period, right? This works for that as well. So basically what I did was I wrote down her withdrawal schedule for her tuition. And these were the amounts that were going to be due on these dates. And then the base case that I've outlined for her is, because this is happening within the next 2 years, short term, we're not going to be investing that money. That money is going to be coming out of her savings account. Now, she does have money in her TFSAs and in her RSPs, and she's eligible to take out money out of her RSP account tax-free because it's being used towards tuition. This will also work. This also applies if you're a first-time home buyer. So if you're like, well, I want to buy a new house, I want to buy a new condo, I have money in my RSPs, TFSAs, I have to make installment payments. How should I do this? So in this case, I just chose a base case scenario of 100% of the withdrawals will be coming from her savings account. I outlined other scenarios where, 75% of her savings withdrawals will be coming from her savings, and then 25% from her TFSAs. Okay, so you can mix and match as much as you want. But for now, I just gave her a couple of scenarios and what would end up happening. What would her net worth look like in a couple of years if she were to withdraw from her savings or from a combination of her savings and TFSAs. I didn't use RSPs in this case, but for you, you can toggle with that to see what it would look like if you were to withdraw money from your RSPs. Base case, what I did was $1,000 going into each of the RSPs, TFSAs, and high interest savings account. What would it look like? Now, on a side note, we decided that she had to increase her RSP contributions because she wasn't getting a pension, but also she just wasn't contributing enough, which was keeping her in her tax bill relatively high. So it's like, okay, no, you're making a certain income, you have to start reducing your tax bill. Contributing to your RSPs is one of those things that you can do. So I upped it to $1,000 a month. And then for her TFSAs and her savings, divided evenly, $1,000 across the board. So what happens is it's going to carry across every month. This is a monthly table that goes until the end of December 2024. So basically what this shows is if she were to invest $1,000 in her RSPs, in her TFSAs, saving $1,000 a month, she's going to withdraw money for her tuition during these months that are highlighted in green. What it shows is after her first installment is paid, she'll have roughly $20,000 in her savings account. So she's good. She's not touching her TFSA. She's not touching her RSPs. Cool. And then for September, a couple months later, she has another installment due, about $19,000. So she's still good. And basically, by her last installment, she's going to be left with around $13,000 in her savings account. And again, she hasn't touched her RSPs. She hasn't touched her TFSAs. And roughly, she'll be left with a net worth of almost $100,000. So by the end of December 2024, there's your six-figure investment portfolio, including cash, of course. And then now that she doesn't have, now that her her savings account is like relatively healthy, she doesn't have to be allocating $1,000 to her savings anymore. This amount can go back into her RSPs or her TFSAs. Okay, so lots of options for her. Okay, so that's what this tracker is about. And the beauty of this is it kind of gives you these small checks. So let's just say you're playing around with it and you reduce this, it's going to tell you how much money is left to be allocated so that making sure you are fully allocated. Okay, so this is a quick check for you. This line right here, total withdrawals, also ensures that your withdrawal, you're going to match it up with this. You're withdrawing, all your withdrawals are totaling the same, because she can easily split this between, instead of 7,215 coming out of her savings, she could have been, putting $3,000 there. The first installment does not match because, it should be this amount. Okay, so these checks are in place in the spreadsheet to make sure that the amounts are adding up. In this case, the withdrawal schedule, and money is being fully allocated each month this should be 0. But also it shows that, if you're going to be in a deficit, let's just say something came up and, and she had to take money out of her savings account. I don't know, let's just say it comes down to this. Let's just say something happened and, she had like something cost her $15,000, massive repair on her house, whatever it is, right? It's going to show, like she's going to put that in and she's going to be, a little bit thrown off track for her payments for her tuition, right? She's going to be, it's going to pretty much drain her savings, right? So now she can make a decision as to, if this was the case, maybe instead of withdrawing money from here, she's going to take it out of her RSPs. Okay, and she can do that tax-free because tuition can come out of your RSPs tax-free. You just have to pay it back. And then she'll still have some healthy savings for her last installment. She can make that installment and she'll still have over $6,000 in her savings account. And then afterwards, she can continue kind of building up her savings account again. So again, if this tracker is something you would like to use to map out how to allocate your investments and savings, comment below tracker, and I will hook you up with this sheet in the DMs, no email or opt-in required.